Welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch League Summer Stage Qualifiers here in the East. I'm Vicky Kitty. I'm joined with Necra, and we are going to take you guys through our second match of the day after we just saw O2 Blast get blasted away by the Soul Inferno in a dominating 3-0 series.
Guangzhou Charge versus PANTHERA. This is another opponent standing in Guangzhou Charge's way to be able to keep themselves a part of the conversation as one of the top teams. They've struggled at the start of this stage to keep their name up there in contention with Soul Inferno, with Hangzhou Spark, with the Dallas Fuel, and they are very hopeful to try to get a win here today, especially knowing that Gaga just entered into the roster this week, and unfortunately Guangzhou Charge fell short facing the Soul Inferno yesterday.
They need to demolish PANTHERA desperately, and I mean that because right now they are sitting in 8th in the overall standings for the East standing specifically here, not within that top 3, top 4 that they want to be sitting in here. So Guangzhou Charge making the adjustments that they need after going in through the roster change as well. They need to be able to stay on point here. With Sadie leaving and Gaga joining the team, we did get to see some highlighted moments from Gaga after, what, it's been like 9 months since we last seen Gaga play. I'm always so happy to see Gaga back and warming up to form, especially seeing how different he plays now. Just you could tell how he's been warming up, maybe overextending just a little bit in the previous week that we had seen before, rather actually just yesterday. So we want to see him back to his form with the rest of the Charge.
But what a tough responsibility to have when you come into the roster when the Guangzhou Charge are already a little bit more defeated coming into this week, and you still have to try to turn things around. But we got to take a look at PANTHERA, their opposition for this match, and the changes that they've made to this roster too. Arpen and a Peach joining the roster and making their debuts this week.
A lot of changes going on here from PANTHERA, one of our other top contender teams to definitely look out for. Wondering how these changes are going to affect the approach that the Guangzhou Charge are going to be going into this series, especially after what we had already seen from the Guangzhou Charge just last week. They didn't lose out on any tier 2 teams. They did beat O2 Blast in that first series that they played off against in the East 3-1, and then they proceeded to fall over to the Hangzhou Spark. But seeing now that we are playing against PANTHERA here, they do not want to be one of those first teams to fall to their hands.
No, they don't. I mean, PANTHERA is also in a little bit of a struggle position right now. They're 0-2 entering into the week, and this is where the going starts to get really tough coming down for these teams. They're up against a clock. This is the 4th match for the Guangzhou Charge. This is the 3rd one for PANTHERA, moving so close to the halfway point, and you want to be in those top 3 teams.
Yeah, this is literally the last series that they play for this week, just to end things off here for them before going on to the next week. They'll be playing off against the Dallas Fuel team that has really turned things around for themselves within the region. Seeing the starting lineups for both these teams here too, thinking about PANTHERA, look like they're having a good time. That's the energy that we need here, especially looking at them being at the very bottom of the overall standing. Seeing the side-by-side comparison as well from both these teams before getting into this match.
Whoa. And what's really interesting about the statistics that we're seeing between Jimmy and Becky here on the Tracer is that despite the fact that PANTHERA has 2 losses under their belt, Becky is still putting up some impressive numbers. In terms of the hero damage done as well as eliminations, you have to look at that and wonder whether or not this is Jimmy's meta at the moment. Jimmy isn't necessarily as well known for something like the Tracer as much as we have hoped to be able to see him on something like those more long-range hit scan choices. And that's kind of scary, taking a look at how Jimmy is fitting into the lineup right now. You'd love to be able to see him on something like the Hanzo or the Widowmaker.
We've also seen Becky, I believe, on the Echo at some point too. We've been seeing a lot of iteration of that depending on the maps that we've been going to. Is our first map is Oasis here. I just gotta say, Jimmy is usually himmy, so it is definitely going to be him up there with the rest of the Charge to see what they can cook up here. Choice of one more on that flex. We've seen the display of his Symmetra, the Sombra, the Echo as well to match that. But again, it's just also working alongside Gaga here in this roster. Far away, Xerneas as well. Far away on fire with that Ana, Xerneas with the Brig. Just trying to see what we're going to get started with here before diving into the match, but also giving a shout out to the audience that has stuck around to watch the games here live.
Yeah, they're in for such a treat looking at the rest of the lineup of the matches that we have today. Already starting things off with another dominant performance from Seoul Infernal, but now we get a chance to see if Guangzhou Charge can once again try to get another win on the board this week, or PANTHERA can also turn things around. Both of these teams desperately looking at wanting a win to be able to make sure that they are still in contention for those play-in spots. We're going to see Echo Tracer Winston coming out from both of these teams. Arpen off to a blazing start here on the Winston.
Love to see it here. Finding Journey is first and far away, coming in right next from that focusing beam. Great start here already looking for PANTHERA. The Echo Diff is crazy here to just clean up what is left of the charge, but they are going to be able to take control over the point here first, and specifically looking at that nano boost that Develop could get first online for that next fight.
There's not going to be too much coming online for either of these. Maybe quickly if we end up seeing PANTHERA get some nice picks here. Nace is starting to run away with a little bit of charge on that Echo. And that could also make sure that PANTHERA can keep themselves in firm control of this high ground here. Bully and Gaga away. Arpen is doing a great job of creating space right now for the DPS of PANTHERA.
Such a good job here too. Almost building up that duplicate comparison to Choi So-won. Big difference here. Becky literally won. Uses the recall. Thought about it for a second real quick before trying to re-engage here alongside Nice, who has the duplicate. Now it's going to be able to be utilized. Copies onto the Ana. Going to build up a nano boost of their own. Maybe get it two side by side, as Arpen is going to have to back away after getting hit with an anti from far away. He does have a nano boost as well to match that with Develop, who's been holding on to it. Here comes the duplicate that was originally used here. Nice is going to get out of here. The anti onto Arpen. He has the primal. Develop had used the nano boost earlier on, but gets taken out by Jimmy, who now finds the opportunity to finally get into place to harass that backline. If Peach manages to get away.
PANTHERA is making it so difficult for the Guangzhou Charge to even approach the point right now. Time and time again, this rally just feels so bleak, so meager in comparison to how much progress PANTHERA is making. Guangzhou Charge couldn't get anything done with that, and they have to go back to the drawing board and go back to it fast. Choi So-won and Jimmy right now, one of the last hopes for Guangzhou Charge to try to take this control away from PANTHERA.
Oh, you saw Jimmy try to toss out that pulse. Misses the stick of the Choi So-won, who now copies the duplicate, sending out the anti, gets immediately booted out. Even with the rally from RP, so Develop and RP get taken out by Jimmy, and the fall from Gaga. That was all initiated by Choi So-won before he went into the duplicate too. Gaga being able to find Arpen. It's gonna have to be another reset, but this is what the charge needed because PANTHERA looks great, already putting that point to 99%.
Choi So-won with the duplicate. This is exactly why we end up seeing the Echoes start to copy the Anas a little bit more in this meta. You didn't even need to really do that much damage, but it was the addition of another anti-grenade that really helped to kick things off there from the charge. Jimmy with a nice pick onto Becky as well. PANTHERA are going to have to wait that out for the respawn to come back, but we do see Nice with a duplicate of his own, being able to potentially copy the Echo from, or the Ana from far away as well, to get a Bionade up for PANTHERA too on top of Develops.
That's what we've been seeing commonly, especially with the impact of these antis. Nano boost onto Choi So-won, as he's going to be able to force Arpen to back away. He's already been able to find Nice in the process, who stops him from using his own duplicate to engage in this fight. More time ticking away now in favor for the charge, while PANTHERA still stay on to 99%, but they just have not been able to flip the point or push us into overtime. Zerny is now finding Becky. Again, it's going to have to be another reset.
This is starting to look really good for the charge here after they wrestled back control from PANTHERA. PANTHERA now the one struggling to try to approach this point. I'd like to see Nice try to get on the board with the duplicate to be able to hopefully get some sustainability there with the Winston, but it's going to be the Ana. Hope to get something done here. You gotta land these sleeps and nades.
Nano boost, Nice, using the duplicate too. Almost getting a nano boost of his own. Arpen gets put to sleep. Pops the Prima to get the reset right after getting hit with the anti. Backing away in time, already nearing that 93% is the Guangzhou Charge. Gaga's also about to get the primal. Choi So-won getting taken out before using the duplicate thanks to Knight's focusing beam. Another huge ante from far away to match that's been landed onto Gaga. Here comes that survivability though with Gaga having the primal. He's taking so much of that damage. The nano boost this time put it to Xerneas to be that raid bus that it needs to be. Fighting our Peach. Our Pen here too. Our Peach now won't be able to use the rally that he just finally got online now. Overtime ticking away, and it's in favor for the Charge to now hold this down.
Not sure who else comes in and touches either as Gaga tries to hold down that front line. You're going to be looking at Becky to make it there, but the quick pick from Jimmy, that's going to secure the round for the Charge. After they struggled so much to be able to get onto the point, feels like another repeat story of what we ended up seeing there from Soul Infernal in their very first round as well. Heading over to University, though, we could see a couple of swap-ups here, but I want to watch this duplicate again. That was
with
so
the ante onto that back line. That was so sick. And then we get to see it from Gaga's point of view. Love seeing the different peripherals from our observers. From the ante into taking out the back line, and then still swinging around and juggling Arpen at the very end before finding Nice, who can't get away. Great start here for the Guangzhou Charge. PANTHERA looked like they had their footing initially, but the Charge, once they had that point, there was no flipping it from them.
No, very difficult to wrestle back control. But now that we're heading over to University, this is where we tend to see a few compositional switch-ups, if any. Not going the way of the Charge right now as Gaga gets dropped, but it's going to be the Ramatra coming out from him.
Oh, that didn't last very long. He immediately swapped right back over to the Winston. Another strong start here for PANTHERA. I do like these quick swaps. Guangzhou Charge not taking any chances here, Necro.
No, they can't make any big... They really can't try to sit on those compositions that they feel like they're just not going to work. Gaga could have potentially thought that Arpen was going to come out with the Ramatra as well, try to meet them in that rush, but Nice has a big change up their sleeve as well, opting for the Sombra here, while Choicer want to stick to the Echo.
Gaga got hit with an ante initially, and a hack on top of it, still surviving right through it. Faraway Xerneas on point, giving them that support. Huge difference maker for Xerneas, trying to help out Faraway. Oh, the stick on the pulse, he cannot help him out from there, and that's going to be big because he was about to get the nano boost for this fight. Arping also being able to get the follow-up onto Gaga. It's going to be another reset here for the Charge, where PANTHERA still stick onto the advantage point.
PANTHERA were able to get this before, just continuing to ride that momentum that they've generated over these first few fights. The EMP as well, for Nice being online, is a great way to be able to keep control too. Especially when Nice is going to already be set up, get that intel about where the Guangzhou Charge want to try to come in from. Big shutdown here on Gaga too.
Oh, the opportunity. Everybody from PANTHERA took the opportunity to take a bite out of Gaga. Even with the EMP, they'll absolutely take that. And now Nice is going to try to build into the second one that he could have for this round.
When it comes down to the Sombra versus the Echo, I don't think you care too much if this EMP is going to hit multiple players. If you just get the one down, that's plenty. And you can see PANTHERA continuing to work through that as they rotate through their ultimates. They actually don't even meet them.
He's staggering them one by one as they fall. Gaga next again, having to reset, but look at Nice getting to position, gets the hack as a choice of one. Oh, taking away here too. Now you got less than 10 seconds, Rekka.
This is gonna be rough. Farway's gonna have to go in with the nano, try to gift that over to Gaga or Xerneas, try to get in. Ooh, Choice one is copying the Sombra.
Catches him, so maybe getting a desperate EMP on board if he can before he gets booted out. He gets healed back. Jimmy gets put to sleep. Gaga pops the primal. The overtime ticking away. Our Peach going down is great with the rally because now the restability isn't there for PANTHERA. Gaga finishing things off in that primal onto Nice. And finally, when the world needed them the most for that point, the Charge come back.
Charge. Hopefully they're able to get a repeat success as they did on round number 1. Working against PANTHERA's sizable lead when it comes down to how much progress they've been able to get, but PANTHERA coming back in with another EMP. Ooh, the stick 2 is actually going to get the nano boost in a far way.
They really like to stare at danger in the face as the primal gets activated from our pen. Our Peach still has that rally. Here comes Nice with the EMP, following up right from the back end of the side room. Jimmy, though, does land that pulse bomb, but it's not going to be enough. The number disadvantage is there, as Charge also don't have the sustainability. Immediately, right afterwards, Panthera are able to flip this point. Gaga's the last one left. I don't know how he's still alive. He was literally one. He still managed to survive for how long? Far away, Xerneas are there, but nobody is left to touch the point. We're going on to a round 3 for this first map.
Round 3 heading over to Gardens means that we could continue to see both of these compositions flourish for either team. But then it comes down to who is able to get control of that point first. Panthera let it slip through their fingers on that very first round, but I wonder if they just were able to play around the ultimates that they had online, they would have been able to close out this map right here, right now. Especially when Arpen, I wasn't sure what to expect out of this player, especially knowing that they are a newer addition to the Panthera roster, but it doesn't feel like they are.
Getting in perfectly out here. Being so much damage, as well as the space being bought in to allow Nice to get some freedom in the sky, as well as Becky to harass that backline. Farway and Xerneas had a much more difficult time, wasting no time now to already get started on this point. Taking the high ground, though, is going to be Charge. You can already see the advantage as they've already taken that catwalk.
Oh, the
nice
anti, though.
Huge right there from Fallway. Can they capitalize, though? They're already restabilizing so quick, things to develop, and the RPG being right there. Gaga with some help from Choice of One are going to be able to stop Arpen, and that's going to force Panthera to back away with the lack of space that they have to work with. So Charge are going to be able to get this point first.
That's going to give them a lot of agency in these next few fights, especially if they're able to bully Nice away. Not able to follow up on the pick there, but at the very least, Gaga is going to start building up to that Primal Rage just a little bit faster. Look at this too, though. Panthera right back into the thick of things, trying to initiate something with an anti, but Jimmy wants to bring it to Becky. That's a Tracer diff. He wants the Tracer diff.
Doing a really good job, but Jimmy with his Brain Blast also being able to catch him right before that pulse bomb could have been sent out, as Becky is going to have it ready for this next fight. See what impact this could have, as well as develop with the Nano Boost. It's going to be what Panthera is going to rely on more than anything here for this engagement.
The Nano Boost is going to be absolutely huge. They need to be able to put this onto either Arpen or maybe even a Peach. You just want to get some of these other sustainability ultimates online, and that rally would be really nice right now. But the big pick onto Choice One removes the duplicate.
Focusing beam. Arpen manages to survive, getting the health pack before managing to rejoin the rest of Panthera, jumping right into the high ground as Xerneas is caught in that line of sight. Nice just went crazy finding the back line, and they are going to be able to flip the point finally for this third round.
Huge being able to take down Choice A1 when the duplicate is online as well. That would have been really nice for Guangzhou Charge to potentially just continue forward, bring this into last fight territory. But for Panthera, great job being able to take back control before ending up having that as a problem for the Charge. Becky,
oh, they heard him. Oh, Xerneas heard the footsteps. That was beautiful right there. Is it going to be able to land the pulse off? But a nice anti lands on to develop an Arpen. No Nano Boost to start the engagement. No duplicate either. Jimmy being able to find those two picks huge. And that's also the Primal just essentially wasted here with Arpen just having to back away.
Arpen is able to get out, but you need to be able to reset super fast here because now we are getting closer to that last fight territory. Gaga could end up playing Doorkeeper again. You've got the Primal Rage. Panthera hopefully aren't going to be going through this side room because that would line them up to get knocked down by Gaga throwing some hands. Nice is going to wrap around. Okay, great high ground take.
Last fight territory, fair for the Charge, and this is a great trade-off. They do lose out on develop though, so maybe not so great in favor for Panthera. They won't have the Nano Boost in this fight. And meanwhile, Choice of One Nice are going toe-to-toe. Choice of One does win the Echo battle between the both, and overtime now ticking away as Gaga has the Primal, Jimmy has the Pulse Bomb. Panthera desperately just trying to stagger onto this point. Becky now trying to make some moves happen, but with the Pulse Bomb from Jimmy after finding our Peach and Becky, is nobody left in sight from Panthera. Guangzhou Charge take the first match.
That was scrappy though. That wasn't a decisive victory. Panthera made that incredibly difficult for Guangzhou Charge to be able to actually take that map at all. So kudos to them. I think we've got a series on our hands, Vicky.
Yeah,
This
ready
is
for
a
it.
very different tale.
I don't want any 3 Overwatch out here. Although for Guangzhou Charge, it would 100% benefit them. But at the very end, we saw what Jimmy can do, popping off. Faraway Xerneas. Talk about those antis as well coming in from far away, doing such a good job with the outcome from Gaga getting the follow-up right afterwards. Jimmy too. No Echo being a problem between the Echo Ditto that we're also having on the field.
It's been good stuff coming out from both of these teams. I think the Echo is able to show up in a big way. I think Nice Sombra might be a hero that PANTHERA should look at trying to lean into a little bit more as we head into the rest of the series. But that's map number 1, heading the way of the Guangzhou Charge. Let's see if they can keep it up as we take a break and look at map number 2 right after this.
Welcome back, everybody, to our second match of the day. We just finished map number 1 on Oasis. The Guangzhou Charge lead the way as we move on to Numbani for our second map.
What a throwback.
Right? It's been
when is the last time that you've seen Numbani in an Overwatch League game?
It's been ages, but that's what makes me really excited, seeing like the map swaps that we've had between last week. What we saw a lot of like Circuit Royal, now we're seeing Numbani coming into the mix. You know, I love seeing a change up here because that also means that maybe we'll see more Echo. Wouldn't be too surprised. We're seeing a lot of the development of the Echo. Of course, the Tracer Sombra still remain prevalent with the Winston in this meta. Taking a look at the Guangzhou Charge after their performance on that first map, they need to get this Molly up. They want to be able to get this 3-0 so that way they can start setting themselves up for success in the overall standings currently, where they're sitting in 8th.
That map number 1 was really tough, though. That came down to making sure that they were able to execute on their ultimates. PANTHERA didn't make that easy to be able to take that first map win. And so I'm very curious to see how Numbani is going to go, given that Arpen and a Peach look phenomenal in the roster so far for PANTHERA, but obviously things can change a lot when we head down to these more lengthier maps, I guess as you could put it, when the payload component is a huge part of that.
It's going to be big here. We have to make sure that we see the likes of Develop staying alive and not getting taken out with Nano available here, which happened a few times in that previous map. Getting ready here as well as pretty big gap between the Echoes between both these teams too. So trying to close in that gap from what we could possibly see from PANTHERA is going to have to be the number one thing. But it was pretty close, especially after that first round. Very similar actually to that first series that we had on our hands, Necro.
Yeah, exactly. I was getting some flashbacks to what we saw from O2 Blast and Soul Infernal to kick things off. But something else I'd really like to be able to see come out from both of these teams is whether they rely on something like a long-range hit scan or not for these maps. That's something that you could end up playing there, either on the attack or the defense. On the defense from these teams, in the East, we have seen a little bit more of the Ashe or the Hanzo being played, just to be able to play around with the verticality and make it a little bit more difficult for those Winstons to pick a nice target. But I also wouldn't be too upset to see more of the Echo, and just honestly more of the Echo dive overall from both of these teams.
I love this map. We are going to be able to see the Echo from both sides here. Just with a quick swap from Nice. Choice of Juan was already on that Echo, as Numbani does provide that verticality that you can work with off the high ground. Touched up on that here, Necras. Arpen and Gaga could do the same thing too with the Winstons. Nice already trying to take a different off angle here too, while Becky's trying to play patiently, trying to sneak her way around, trying to get up to the high ground to suppress the back line here for the Charge.
Nice bubble though from Gaga to be able to keep the supports alive for now. It's going to dislodge the PANTHERA dive for a little bit until their cooldowns come back online.
Is raining Winstons from the sky as Becky, Arpen open things up for PANTHERA, getting the backline off the table from the Charge. Means that the Charge are going to want to back away here. Gaga doesn't have the primal for the reset. They won't want to stagger through either, as PANTHERA are going to be able to find him right before he gets away. They are going to be able to get this payload moving already off the gates.
Payload take was so fast here for PANTHERA. It almost felt like a blink and you miss it type of situation. As PANTHERA, Becky, just being such a valuable teammate for those dives, gonna have the full spam online basically before anybody else in this lobby. Gaga with the anti too is in so much danger right now. Guangzhou Charge are gonna have to take a step back as PANTHERA start to take more space and get this payload around that first corner.
To work into it at least, especially with Farway being behind on the Nano. Developers already had it in their pockets, and the duplicate will be online for Nice first. So the Nano boost onto Arpen to clear up more of that space, and with the primal on top of it, once that Nano boost runs down, oh, if he can't even pop it, he dies the Nano boost onto him as Choice of One managed to land those sticky bombs here. Backing away, it's going to be PANTHERA, recognizing the situation while Gaga takes the high ground. He's been playing so well, even from that first map, get hit with another anti to back away.
How did Nice get hit by the whip shot there? I would love to see yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wow, I wonder how close Nice was actually trying to get access to the backline. but it's going to be a bit of a standstill here as Panthera is trying to find a way to weave in these ultimates onto the table, as Becky looking for an opportunity to use his pulse bomb first.
Yes, has the rally. Be crucial depending on how nice use of the duplicate. Does copy Farway's Ana. Immediately gets put to sleep. They were waiting for that. Farway knew that the duplicate on Sam was going to come eventually, but Nice manages to survive before getting booted out of the duplicate. Becky initiates with a pulse bomb, misses the stick, unfortunately, doesn't get the impact necessary. Choice1 on the other side also uses up that duplicate, gets put to sleep right after being woken up, though, to try to get away. Arpen and Becky have the numbers on board, fighting the backline again, and it's another team fight win in favor for Panthera.
Oh, Gaga going down there as well, got antied, and the great follow-up here from Panthera is going to allow them to get this cart moving again. The rally being preserved for the last stretch of point B is going to prove insurmountably valuable when Guangzhou Charge don't have too many places to hide as this card starts to round that final corner. Looking for Charge as well to hopefully get a bit of sight line down this straightaway. Don't know how you reach Develop right now though without investing Gaga, and Develop is a really nice target to be able to land these sleeps too to pressure Gaga off.
Oh, but Gaga initiating that dive from the high ground. Just ignoring Develop, as Develop had the nano boost onto our Peach. Our Peach now and then has been able to find Choice1 flying right above his head, dropping down and getting that second point, securing that as the rest of Panthera are holding forward onto Charge. Farway is going to be the next victim to fall into the lobby. Becky just making a statement, following in right alongside Arpen, looking right at home and engaged in this team.
Farway was a bit of a stagger as well, so Panthera may be able to get this card around the corner, especially with how far forward Arpen is holding. Has the Primal Rage. Choice1 has that knowledge though, getting a hack onto Arpen, giving over that information. Choice1 with the Sombra swap as well. This feels really nice to have to try to shut down Panthera, especially when you have 3.5 minutes for Panthera to reach that final point.
I like the swap here too, because also you get the hack. Nice, has to just fall. Like, wait out here, won't be able to use the duplicate in that fight. Arpen has the primal. Panthera had so much more to work with while Becky pops off after using that pull from earlier here too. Follows up with finding Gaga and Jimmy. Charge stuck in their spawn room doors as Arpen's just trying to keep up the pressure.
And you do that too. You still preserve the Primal Rage. Just hold everybody at the door. The Nano Boost from Develop as well could just continue to bolster up that front line.
Becky! Again, finding Gaga here. Arpen pops the Primal, just shoving everybody back into the spawn while finding Xerneas, who's trying to fight for their life. So is Farway. He gets deleted, takes the nice with the pop-off. The duplicate coming in after getting the copy off of Jimmy. They finally complete their run with so much time in the time bank. 2 minutes and 42 seconds for that payload to hit that finish line.
What is with all these echoes? Copying the DPS on the other side and saying, anything you can do, I can do better.
Especially at the very end. Let me just kill your team with exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Series,
exactly. It was exactly what I was thinking of. I was looking at that from Zest copying Who Are You Sojourn and just bopping people in the head. Really fun stuff to be able to watch those echoes pop off to be able to complete these maps. And with how much time you just mentioned that Panthera has left in the tank, Guangzhou Charge have to finish this map and then some. It's over a minute there for Panthera, so Charge can't do this in overtime.
The extra interesting was the positioning from Panthera to take that second point. You mentioned at one point Gaga really had to focus down on Develop, who had the nano boost available, but also Develop had some help from RPG originally in that second point. Taking a look at the replay at the very end from Becky, who popped off. Well, meanwhile, when Nice comes back, Nice came back with a duplicate and chose violence. Becky chasing down Gaga, and then the follow from Arpen goes back to what we were saying earlier, that Arpen looks like he's absolutely at home with the rest of the Panthera team.
Yeah, Panthera just look like they haven't missed a beat when it comes down to executing these dives, which is incredibly impressive knowing that Arpen and a Peach are both making their debuts on these rosters. But Guangzhou Charge get a chance at the attack now. It's possible that they end up taking this very quickly, especially if Choice1 can also show that echo dominance that Nice did on Panthera's attack push.
Huge, Nice to anti. Gaga forced to drop down. And now Becky follows up, immediately cleans up what was left with Gaga and Choice of One. Even with the anti of Peach here, Xerneas has to back away, but can't get away in time because Becky and Nice are on another level. Jimmy wondering, all right, it's time to wake up with Choice of One. Our backline keeps getting pressed by these two.
Oh, Jimmy's not going to be able to get away. No way. Oh, no way. Gaga gets stopped at the door with a sleep. These Anas have just been off the chain when it comes down to how much value they're able to get out of those sleeps and antis. Guangzhou Charge are back though, but not before Gaga gets antied again.
Being able to restabilize here. Nana will be online first for Develop, which is going to be big. See how Gaga was trying to isolate him with the bubble, and it does not work because Peach is right there to help him, as well as Nice with the 2K, making a 3K, leaving out Jimmy being the nail in the coffin to clean out what was left of Charge. Complete turnaround here for Panthera.
Panthera is putting so much focus down onto Gaga. You can see how difficult it's been for Gaga to keep up pace with getting that ultimate online versus Arpen. And just honestly, everybody across the board has really struggled. But Gaga, most importantly, because of the focus fire coming in from the sleeps, the nades. Great follow-up there for Panthera to keep that backline safe.
Norway managed to survive after Becky, following with Arpen, tries to isolate him, but it forces out the rally, which is an issue because now Panthera are like, okay, we'll wait out on the rally. They back away in time. Now they won't have the rally to start the engagement, but they do have that nano boost.
Where's it gonna go?
Here. Yeah, Arpen now is gonna be able to play around. Needs all the help. Got the nano boost just in case. Literally won the duplicate on top of that. They lose out on Becky. They're just gonna hold on to the backline ults for right now. Choiceone was able to find that trade because now the backline from Charge are off the table. Nano boost has been put down onto Arpen while Gaga has used the primal. Immediately gets put to sleep while Arpen has found the DPS.
Oh no. Arpen is sending Guangzhou Charge back to spawn again. Nice is going to try to come back into this one, picking up the Sombra. You can use the translocate to get back to point just a little bit faster. But Nice also has a great way of being able to lock down Choice on One's Echo. If you just get a hack, that Echo becomes incredibly vulnerable.
Nano boost being put down onto Gaga while Choice of One uses the duplicate onto the Tracer. Look at that pulse bomb in a blink of a second with less than a minute now on the clock for the Guangzhou Charge to get some progress on this payload if they can even get it moving. No gas in the tank for right now. Sending out that pulse, not finding the impact that they desperately needed after getting it. Here comes the rally. But Peach is able to find Xerneas. The backline off the table from the Charge again. Becky is on another level alongside Arpen here from Panthera. Again, another turnaround compared to what we saw in that first map as the reset happens from Charge.
Panthera have done a great job, too, of giving and taking when they need to. That's going to be 2 ticks on the board here for Charge, having trouble trying to find that third one to finish up this first point. And with Nice with an EMP online, this is looking super doomed here for Charge unless they can get this rally online and stat.
A rally the
10
troops
seconds.
here.
5.
Xerneas has it. Is gonna get popped here. They gotta touch the point. Less than 3 seconds. Now Gaga going down first again. Even after that rally gets popped. Overtime now. Burning away. Jimmy can't make any plays happen. He dies with the pulse bomb in his hands. Peach goes down after getting hit with an anti, but there's nobody left from Charge to contest. Panthera with a dominating performance on Numbani. Equal out the score against the Guangzhou Charge.
I know that Panthera looked good on that first map, but Vicky, I didn't think they looked this good. That was a complete shutout onto the Guangzhou Charge. And after such a dominant attack push from Panthera as well. Wow. Wow, I'm so impressed by Arpen and a Peach right now.
Gaga died like 9 times. Arpen, I think, died like once, by the way. That was such night and day difference compared to the performance in that first map. And even in that first map, we keep highlighting it, but it was a 2-1 win on Oasis for Guangzhou Charge. That first round looked very heavily in favor for Panthera, and then the second round even started very similarly with that advantage before Panthera was able to take it on that final round. But now Numbani looks even more convincing off of that performance alone from Nice and from Arpen. Let's see if they can keep it up on the other side of this break. We got map number 3 right afterwards. Welcome back, everybody. Our contenders teams, they do it again. Panthera take map number 2, evening out the score 1-1 right now versus the Guangzhou Charge.
Panthera look so strong coming into this match. I think truly they could have taken that first map had they not faltered their lead on that very first round, but they were able to shut out the Guangzhou Charge on Numbani 3-0. Didn't let them get a single point in that map. And I don't know, Vicky, I feel like these new kids on the block, they were exactly what Panthera needed.
It's so fun to just watch the Becky versus Jimmy matchup. Like, this is something that I mentioned to you on the break real quick. Now we're seeing it come to life. And with the adjustment that Guangzhou Charge have made, Gaga coming in, taking out of this roster, it is looking like they need to make a lot more adjustments in total with what the Charge need to bring to the table. Even though they won that first map, it was still incredibly close, and that's to put a highlight onto that, because it did end on Oasis 2-1. Meanwhile, Panthera with such dominating control on Numbani, nice hopped off alongside Becky, Arpen as well. You have some of that history that you were mentioning before too, Necra, while we get ready for Circuit Royale.
I'd love to talk about that because Arpen and Peach, these might be players that people are a little bit more unfamiliar with. They came in from playing on T1 together in 2022 before we ended up seeing Peach take a little bit of a break, and then Arpen going over to NT, where Unknown is giving a little bit of backstory about that, where that was an open division team formed of players that didn't get a chance to make it into Overwatch League last season, but still wanted to show off the potential that they have. So now, Arpen and Peach, they find themselves in a roster again together, contending with these Overwatch League teams. So I feel like they were both able to meet that goal in a little bit of a way, and hopefully bring it to some of these Owl teams.
Making the comeback that they need to going into the second week, right, Necro? We saw the unfortunate shortcomings of Panthera in the first week, which was last week, where they lost to the Dynasty 3-0. They lost our Dreamers at LAN as well, 3-1. Dreamers being another team that has also gone through their own reworks that we saw yesterday. But even with this look at Panthera right now, this is a completely different team than the one that I had witnessed last week alone.
It's really interesting because Panthera, they're showing a different look with Arpen and Peach over what we saw last week of Jasmine and Slay, and those tank and support roles respectively. Just speaking a little bit more to the different look that you were talking about there, Vicky. But as we head over to Circuit Royale, it's so weird to see Winston's on this map. This is a map you would classically see the Sigma, the long-range hit scan, the Hanzo makes a lot of sense here for Jimmy to be able to showcase one of his absolute best heroes. It has to pay off here as the perfect pick to go up against Becky's Echo.
Oh, nice anti onto Nice. Immediately is able to re-engage. Yeah, the Winston's jump. What's extra funny is seeing the cohesion between Becky and Arpen, and Toy Swan's going to be able to get that first pick to set up the Charge for success. Gaga still, though, playing off that low ground. It's about trying to get to the high ground quickly. At least that provides for this map alone when you do go Winston. But it's also those open sightlines, like you mentioned, for Jimmy to really take much more of that progress.
I think the other thing about being able to run the Winston is the compositions overall that you would expect from both of these teams lends itself more to that. Gaga is a Winston player. If you expect the Charge to come out on the Winston, you get a chance to play that as well. So Panthera able to show that off. Peach gets so low, though.
Wow, he's lived through that. It also looked like Gaga was trying to body block him. Arpen jumps on top of Jimmy while trying to harass the Peach from afar. Becky with the duplicate, getting that nade kill on so far away, getting a taste of his own medicine, as Panthera are still dominating right now, literally taking their time to cross that next corner. And look at Arpen's positioning here, so that way they can get some extra progress before getting right above this hilltop.
Nice bit of progress here. That cart is so close to being able to get that first objective. But not before Guangzhou Charge can come back in with this nano. Oh, Gaga slept and antied. Oh, the poor guy.
And that's with nano boost too. That's so unfortunate here. Far away. Goes out by Becky. The anti and the primal on top of that from Gaga. Stunned just momentarily by a Peach who pops the rally. Zerny is trying to match height. By the way, Gaga gets put to sleep again, then stunned immediately afterwards. He can't get a break. He actually survives before trying to re-engage here. Jimmy sends out the dragons. Everything needs to come up from the charge. That was so hard for them. So at least get some room to breathe between getting slept twice, getting hit with the anti, having to go for the reset here. Gaga is still living thanks to Farway and Xerneas.
They have had to put in overtime, though, to be able to keep Gaga alive. Oh, Jimmy stopping this push entirely in its tracks. Look like Panthera would have been able to come back in and get a very quick attack push. But, yeah, this is exactly why Jimmy is known for that Hanzo pick. Being able to secure those headshots time and time again. Especially when you're able to lay down those sonic arrows and figure out where Neist and Becky want to try to come from.
Good point.
I want to see it again. Do it again.
Especially if he could get some more info. Oh, he's preempting.
Jimmy, do it again.
But Becky playing right behind Arpen. What scares me the most. Spin already took an arrow to the head. He's gonna be able to get restabilized as Neist. Also trying to reset here. No EMP online. Nancy onto Choice of One as Develop backs away. Does have that nano boost. Who's gonna see how Arpen's gonna be able to engage. Just subtract Jimmy from the equation from being the problem, but he's gotten so much help from far away from the distance. Nano boost is about to get online here too. Gaga may need it as Jimmy got hacked, but doesn't send it out in time. Gaga goes out while being able to have the primal for this fight would have been crucial. Less than 10 seconds on the clock here for Panthera to get to that second point, rather that first point. They are right there. Jimmy sends out the dragons. The nano boost too that was used up earlier onto Choice to want to do some of that extra damage, and they are going to be able to contest.
Oh man, the recontest coming through. Gaga though, even with the Primal Rage, still getting forced away from this objective. Neist wants to try to get this EMP online because it's going to have to be the last ditch effort here for Panthera.
Develop finding Gaga is going to be huge here. Gets shut down immediately, and as they back away, they're going to be able to get that first checkpoint. Guangzhou Charge are trying to run away, and this is just going to be a stagger at this point. That hack onto Farway, Xerneas gets taken out, or is just trying to run away. Even though Choice of One comes right back in with Xerneas, they're just trying to get some of that extra base that they need after Panthera already got that first checkpoint.
Panthera taking that objective does give them some extra life, extra time in the bank. Neist didn't even have to pop the EMP there either, so it should be pretty smooth sailing for Panthera to be able to get around this corner and get that second objective. But where it starts to get really difficult is if Panthera can't get up this straight away.
Oh, they restabilize so quick there. Farway on point with those nades. Forcing Panthera to back away, which means that EMP didn't have the impact that they need. The nano boost now onto Gaga as he funnels the back line into the side room. A Peach is developed as a Peach gets hit with an anti. Choice One gets the follow-up here, as well as Xerneas, who's stuck in that room originally with our Panthera. Back to the drawing board as Charge win this team fight and are able to restabilize.
Charge have been putting up a great defense on Circuit Royale. Makes a lot of sense why they would want to be able to stick to this dive composition, maybe forcing Panthera out of their comfort zone if they wanted to try to run something a little bit different with a Sigma or a Diva on this map. But Echo too, I feel like Neist has been having a harder time this map, finding the value that he's been able to find before. Jimmy just making that so difficult.
Taking those cheeky angles too, sends out the dragons exactly where they're going to be rotating from. Develop got caught on that just a little bit before having to reset. Meanwhile, Choice wants finding this ditto battle between himself and Becky. Again, gets the stick here onto a Peach as Develop also finds himself in the line of sight as Jimmy's taking heads, literally. Gets another one onto Arpen, winning another fight, and it's this Jimmy Hanzo being the Hemi that they need for the Charge to continue on this domination.
He is him. Jimmy is him through and through right now. As the Guangzhou Charge, with this defense, could keep themselves tied up in the series.
It's in 10 seconds now for Panthera. They do have a plethora of ultimates to work with. A bunch more coming up now. The rally has been activated from Xerneas. Having to be careful as Neist comes in on the Echo, nearing that duplicate. Gaga now taking a nap after popping the primal, gets woken up immediately afterwards, has a nano boost just in case from far away if necessary, as he gets hit with an anti, gets stunned on top of that with the shield bash. Develop getting taken out before using the nano boost is actually crucial. Overtime ticking away. Becky now coming right back in, has the pulse up, but Nice getting taken out. Means that they're playing off of this number disadvantage. Becky trying their best, sends out the pulse, misses, and then loses themselves far away. Charge having some room to breathe. Yes, Panthera got that first point, but they're fully able to hold them back before that.
Let's go, Jimmy. Jimmy Hanzo. Me likey. The best look we've seen from the Charge so far this series has been when Jimmy is able to play his favorite, his best heroes. This replay, I feel like, tells us everything.
That was disgusting. Right off the crevice of the tree into getting the double headshot. He was
so good.
killing it by this hilltop here between using the tree as well as the fence line too. Jimmy doing what Jimmy does best. He's just being him.
Jimmy doing Jimmy things. Doesn't get any better than that. Especially when you think about Circuit Royale and the fact that it is classically a sniper map. You usually see something like a double sniper, maybe you see the Widow and the Hanzo together. Sojourn had a huge mainstay on Circuit Royale when it was first introduced in Overwatch 2, Overwatch League last season. So potentially we get a chance to see that. I think it was just for a little bit of music making, and Jimmy will go back over to the Hanzo. But Panthera are going to have to figure out a way to be able to deal with that and shut that down. It starts here with nice Sombra.
Jimmy with the Jimmy tunes. CR Pen are ready. Gonna find the opportunity on the other side just in case. Getting set up on that high ground. Mentioned a nice here being on the Sombra, also wanting to take advantage of getting that EMP charge as quickly as possible. And the anti does get hit onto our Pen. Restabilizes so quick as Nice is able to focus down onto Jimmy. The main problem, making the adjustments that Panthera has already noted off of their initial push, being on the attack. Pen managed to get away again as Becky now finds Xerneas. Charged one by one as they fall though, as Farways does manage to restabilize. They do have to wait out on Xerneas to come back so that way they can get that rally charge quicker than a Peach here, as you can see.
They do want to start to try to outpace that just to be able to keep up with some of this defense. Jimmy is public enemy #1 right now in the Charge. It'll seem nice to try to target down Jimmy as often as possible. All that harassment in the backline is going to net Nice to an EMP as one of the first ults.
What's the billboard do to you, Choice of One? Sending out that pulse bomb, getting it stuck right on top of the bridge. Nice has that EMP, getting it charged just quick here. He's backing away before submitting to the EMP, but doesn't get the target that they needed here. Despite that, though, a nice anti on Gaga, and then the hack right afterwards, trying to get away in time as he can, as Becky nails him down. Nice communication coming in from Panthera, as well as the nano boost now put onto our Pen. This is going to force the Charge to back away in time, especially since Xerneas is going to go down with the rally in hand.
Still a great eco push coming through from the Charge. They only threw the nano boost at that fight. Choice One's gonna have another pulse bomb. But there's a lot of ultimates on the board that can create space for Charge to get back into the mix. You've got this Dragon Strike from Jimmy if he's not gonna get locked down in the backline.
Almost getting stuck by that pulse bomb from Becky. And with the primal, finding himself in the pit while the Dragons also get unleashed here from Jimmy. Gaga got hit with the anti as he pops the primal here too, but with Jimmy finding Nice in the middle of those Dragons, the rally has been popped by a Peach. Develop gets stove bombed by Gaga, getting the damage done before that nano boost could have come online. Getting the trade here between Panthera and Charge, though, leaves Panthera without the support backline that they desperately need. So that means that Charge could finally have the room to work with to get this payload moving.
That was a lot of great target focus in the backline from Panthera, but unfortunately, all the while, Guangzhou Charge were pushing the payload. That is going to be a much faster take than what Panthera were able to grab on that first objective. Now this payload doesn't have too much farther to go, with Panthera also coming out from far spawns here. They are going to have a tough time getting set up back up on the defense. They're gonna have to invest this nano boost from Develop to try to get Arpen back into the front line. Oh, it's so close. Someone touch.
They have to get on. Oh, that's a great first pick right there onto Jimmy. The main problem that we've seen right now is Choi comes in with the pulse bomb into a Peach. We are seeing the trades light up the feed here as Arpen also finds Serdius. Both backlines deleted here from the equation. With so much time to work with, though, from the Charge, they're going to be able to go back to the drawing board. They still have less than 3 minutes on the clock to work with. 2 minutes, 55 seconds, and Choi is moving back in.
There's not many people left from Panthera to be able to contest this either. Look at Choice One just continuing to fall. No one can come in and touch. Nice is going to have to. Vicky, they don't get there in time.
Even with Phil's shot landing at the very end, still with that EMP, that was it. That was it.
Oh my god.
Not close enough. The curse continues.
No.
He still got hit with that whip shot, but it would have been crazy if they just would have delayed it and reset it back to overtime with the EMP. They were all right behind him on top of the hill.
What? Arpen was right there. Arpen had to back away just because of how low he was getting. But Nice had the EMP. Vicky, they had a chance. Oh, Panthera had a chance.
Deleted from their sight literally in that moment. Seeing the flail shot also being the nail in the coffin just in case just putting your toe on the payload wasn't enough. That was going to be Circuit Royal out from the table. Guangzhou Charge lead it 2-1 currently versus Panthera. We're going to see what goes down in map number 4 on the other side of this break.
Engaged. Honor.
Guangzhou Charge lead the way at match point 2-1 versus PANTHERA with a stronghold with the best comp that we've seen Charge hail from. Jimmy coming through with the pride and true Hanzo. Choi's looking great and polished on the Tracer here. The Charge may be getting right back to form in the way that they need.
Gaga also has been able to receive a bit more help, maybe a bit more confidence when it comes down to actually initiating these dives, because before, Gaga was the prime target for PANTHERA. That was exactly who PANTHERA wanted to try to gun down every single time Gaga was ending up making an initiation, and there wasn't a whole lot of follow-up when it came down to the Echo and the Tracer setup that we were seeing before coming out from Choi Se-won and Jimmy. But with the Hanzo, you chunk down somebody, Gaga is able to be there to get the rest of that damage down to the Tesla cannon.
Honestly, just looking at what we just saw from the Charge, I want to see them just stick to this comp going forward. It's honestly been the best comp that we've seen from them. The Echo just wasn't it. We saw some signs of life at the very beginning, but Nice was just doing it better, especially from what we saw from PANTHERA going onto Numbani. Looking at what the Guangzhou Charge have in store for them for their schedule, it's definitely something that they want to polish here. As we go into our fourth map, we are moving on to New Queen Street on push.
New Queen Street is one of those maps that I could see Jimmy coming out with something that lends itself a little bit better to his hero pool, but it's always such a toss-up. We ended up seeing a lot of Ashe coming out from Philadelphia Fusion last season before they rebranded, and that ended up playing really nicely into the DPS hero pool for them. But it just feels like there's a little bit of discomfort when it comes down to Charge leaning into Jimmy's Tracer versus what he's super well known for, the Hanzo, the Widowmaker, the Ashe. PANTHERA with Nice. I love that call out that you made, because Echo is one of Nice's strongest heroes. You get a chance to lean into that comfort, it shows up in a big way.
Yeah, we saw the clear gap between what we were seeing from Charge trying to Echo Ditto. Nice there too. So I like Troy sticking onto that Tracer has gotten such an impact even after what we just saw from that last map. Jimmy sticking to the Hanzo. Can it work here on New Queen Street? Looks like that's what we're going to be trying to roll out with. If Nice tries to stick to the Sombra, I better not see any Sombra dying to those dragons, because how? Unless that Translocator was destroyed right before.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
I think Choi Se-won has been able to sniff that out more often than not, though. And if you have the Tracer in the back line being able to target down that Translocator and remove it from the mix, then all of a sudden, Nice's emergency exit is no longer on the table. I love that the Charge are going to try to lean into this one. Hopefully it's able to work out here for Jimmy. But this is where Jimmy's comfort is. You need to make sure that he is able to help initiate those dives.
Ooh, nice anti leads to Xerneas and Gaga to go down as the first two picks here, opening things up amazingly for PANTHERA off the rip. Becky just cleaning up what was left of the Charge, tearing them up. And Choi is going to be able to back away in time, but that's PANTHERA already taking advantage of the bot first.
And now Nice gets a chance to set up with these hacks. Jimmy actually going to go ahead and match Nice on the Sombra himself. So giving up the Hanzo immediately, recognizing maybe there's just a bit too much pressure coming through from Nice and Becky. Jimmy has been the target focus for both of them as well, just looking at what happened on Circuit Royale, but the time bank difference was too insurmountable there for the Charge. It just has to be different this time around. The EMPs are going to be vital for both of these teams.
They're actually doing a really good job at re-engaging just to contest that bot to not get any extra credit with those meters. Becky does have that pulse bomb, sends it forward here. Find the stick. Gaga again dies first. This is what happened when PANTHERA had just dominating previously. Gaga usually trying to start an initiation, a big anti, finding three. EMP tries to get the follow from Nice, but with three members antied inside that side room, it's too difficult. Another big anti now into the back line. Farway is angry. The nano boost into the rally from Xerneas. The back line from the Charge says we'll take care of it ourselves if necessary.
Farway is angry, dropped the bio nade onto Nice, Becky, and Arpen, and then Nice comes in with a defensive EMP? I didn't like that. I would have liked to see Nice hold on to that for this next engagement. It just felt like the fact that Nice, Becky, and Arpen were already so low that was so dangerous of a call, and it allowed Guangzhou Charge to get back into things with Xerneas' rally. So Guangzhou Charge can take control of this bot once again as we start to go back to neutral.
Nice retaliation on the anti this time around from Develop. EMP is only going to land into Arpen. Peach finding Gaga being the first pick once again as Charge desperately funneled inside this side room. After the friendly hellos that we saw between Becky and Choi, though, we can already see Becky getting to position with the Peach as the rally's also held here, and Choi's looking for the approach, holding onto the poles, gets the stick. On top of that, after landing an anti, Farway tries to get the retaliation. Becky gets the revenge. The pulse bomb this time onto Farway, so both on is susceptible to finding themselves on the other side of those pulse bombs. Gaga coming in with a vengeance after being the first one to get picked off means that the bot is swinging right back in the Charge favor.
Nice as the EMP back online. This is a second opportunity to make sure that the EMP is going to be more of an initiation tool for Panthera. But Jimmy also trying to hunt down the back line so that Charge can start to match that progress. Whoa, Primal Rage was forced out so early from Gaga.
And then puts him to sleep right afterwards. And then right after that, you get your backline immediately deleted by Nice on this Sombra. If it isn't the Echo, it's the Sombra coming in from Nice. Getting the quick 2K here with another reset from the Charge.
This is something that Nice has been working on as well to make sure that Sombra and Tracer can be a dynamic duo that Panthera needs. Peach as well with a huge find onto Jimmy. Really sets the Charge back. Now that Sombra is not in the back line, and it's going to be tough for Guangzhou Charge to come back in for the recontest here before Panthera end up getting the capture.
He's ready for both
back.
sides here. Wake the hack onto Arpen as Nanoboot gets put onto him here. Reset. Gaga also trying to get into position, being Nanoboosted himself, but then constantly
they got the point.
Left too. Yeah, they got the checkpoint. EMP for the desperation on the Hail Mary could absolutely do it with now Jimmy finding Arpen. Becky immediately went for that reset though, so currently a Peach now just trying to back away in time, but he won't be able to run away from Choi much longer. Panthera with the reset, but they still got that first tick, Necra.
That was right underneath the Charge's noses as well. And that was a very smart recontest coming through. Panthera delaying that so that they ended up having the closer spawn so that they can get back into this one way faster. Super smart before that bot ended up going back over that neutral point. So Panthera are back. They've got 3 ultimates to boot. And they're set up here as, oh, nice translocator.
Just looking at that from a nice point of view. Shout out to the observers, that was beautiful. Just a nice, lovely present to delete. Jimmy gets deleted since he can't translocate out of danger. Arpen with the primal inside that side room is also able to find Gaga despite the rally being popped right alongside Farway. Nancy can develop, allows Arpen to get into position, continuously harassing this backline. Farway has a nano boost, but it's gonna have to wait for Gaga to come in before they are able to use it.
Panthera just not even needing ultimates either in that engagement besides the Primal Rage. Feels so good for them. When Charge, on the other hand, have not been able to find any value from theirs, it feels like. The rally a little late there to the punch. Jimmy's EMPs just not quite finding the targets that they want either. Nice is gonna be able to lay one right on top of the point. I don't think it's worth it right now though. You got lost too many members.
You lost your backline once again. It's crazy here as the EMP is ready from Jimmy. Choi is just doing so much work for this team right now. It's actually insane. Now being able to find Arpen. Choi going on the other side, finding this Tracer duel between himself and Becky. Develop does have that nano boost for this next fight, and that EMP is going to be crucial depending on how Jimmy's going to use it first.
Yeah, Nice has had this online for a bit. Panthera just not really feeling the pressure to have to use these ultimates yet. Until now.
Ooh, does find our pen. Nice is gonna retaliate right back though too. Do get the first pick on the far way, so they have the number advantage in their favor. Our doing such a good job at clearing the space and adding in the pressure to that back line. Same though, can't really be said about Gaga, who's been one of the first to go down within these initial fights. Dying with the Primal though will be available in that next fight if they could start engaging here, because look at this progress of the bot that PANTHERA has gotten.
Gaga has died the most in this lobby so far for this map. That speaks volumes to how big of a threat PANTHERA ends up seeing that Winston, and also how often he's been getting caught out. A Peach is just in the back line. Hello?
Oh, Peach's developer just handling business on their own. Taking a flanking angle here too. Gets deleted. Gets punished for the overextension as the Primal was also forced up from Gaga. Gets the revenge on the backline too. The rally was almost online for Peach here. Arpen will have the Primal himself after Gaga just used it here. Look at the amount of meter that PANTHERA have built up in comparison to the Charge here.
And there's only 2 minutes left for the Charge to be able to retake control and also match that progress. They need to start getting value out of these ultimates, but time and time again, PANTHERA are there, a thorn in their side. They've got 4 ultimates now to spare as they take back control.
What we need to throw out there, the rally, the EMP as well. Also, Zerny is taking a tap after he popped the rally, means that nothing can get done after Becky is done with him, with the pulse bomb that he's able to find onto the sleeping target. Nice gets hit with another anti, but that's right before Farway gets taken out by Arpen. Again, this impact that Arpen has had on this team is another level, taking the high ground position here.
PANTHERA ended up having to expend quite a few ultimates in that fight, but at this point, with us approaching that final minute mark, PANTHERA are just playing keep away. They want to play on the defensive. All they need to do is stop the Charge, and they don't even care if they fall to this EMP right now. But it's even better if they don't, and they're able to just finish the map out right here, as here's that minute.
With Soccer going down, though, that's going to put a dent to Jimmy's plans and try to EMP the back line. They just want to hold on to it at this point, especially losing out on Xerneas. You won't have the sustainability or the follow potential here, so Jimmy's just going to have to wait to utilize the EMP. But how long do you wait when this bot is right next to that final point? Less than a minute now on the clock.
Oh, Gaga is isolated here as well. Jimmy's gonna have to try to go for a target, but Gaga's already so low as that bot is approaching just full capture here for PANTHERA.
Side sometimes here too. Jimmy gets detected, still has the EMP, still waiting on the opportunity, just wants to follow up, isolates the Bella, immediately still finds it, but that's gonna cost Jimmy's life. Becky turning around, finding his head, sending out the pulse bomb, finding Xerneas on top of the fact that he was able to get that initial pick. EMP coming in as well from Nice. They just lost out on Arpen. Charge have less numbers on the board. Farway fighting for his actual life while Becky's harassing him. He still finds Nice here. Choice in one, trying to keep Charge alive in this series, turning the bot around with overtime ticking away.
Becky's able to escape to get back to PANTHERA before they go in for another recontest. But the Guangzhou Charge, they certainly have their work cut out for them now, since they're going to have to make up that distance and then some. This is going to have to be 3 teamfight wins in a row if the Guangzhou Charge want to be able to win this map and close out the series.
It's going to be so difficult. They're going to have to cycle through these ults appropriately. We need to see impact coming in from Choice Pulse Bomb, and with the hack and then the deletion on Farway from Becky. That's not the way you want to start things off. Develop gets hacked. He's got the nano ready for himself. See how he played this out as Xerneas also has the rally. Gaga pops the Primal. He got hit with an anti right before that. Having to stay on top of this bot. Xerneas gets that pick onto Becky, prevents the pulse from having any impact in this fight in general. Going back and forth here too. It's going to be Jimmy trying to get that EMP, but he is tied toe-to-toe with Nice. Having to play around this corner as PANTHERA also gives some of this extra space. They want to play around this rally smartly.
Rally's going to be activated here. That gives PANTHERA a chance to be able to get up close and personal to the front line, but they can't drop it now. They've got the lead. They have to keep it.
He gets the pick onto Choi here, which is also going to be huge after Choi was able to get the pick onto Arpen. A Peach, Becky, a Peach goes crazy at the very end, clears the bot. We have a tie series on our hands. PANTHERA takes map number 4, tying the series out 2-2 against the Guangzhou Charge.
Woo. Oh my god. We have a series on our hands. Vicky, this is so exciting. Especially knowing that PANTHERA and Guangzhou Charge want this win so badly based on their early performance in the Summer Qualifiers so far. PANTHERA, they're getting it done. These roster additions have been so perfect for them.
I'm actually appalled to see what change-ups we've had from PANTHERA, with Arpen just being such a difference maker in comparison to the unfortunate circumstance of Gaga trying to move in first and usually being the first to get taken out. Things got to change here. This is a last chance opportunity for the Guangzhou Charge. On the other side of this break, we got map number 5 to determine who's going to come out on top for our second match of the day. Don't go anywhere with more Overwatch League. Welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch League. We got a series on our hands for our second match of the day. PANTHERA tied things out on push on New Queen Street versus the Guangzhou Charge, while we take a trip to our fifth map going on to Busan.
I've missed Busan. That's
Same.
another one in the map pool that I am just so excited to get a chance to see again. The music is the best, still.
I was literally just about to say that. You're reading my mind, Necra.
I love it. Maybe a bit of a home advantage there for PANTHERA, I'm not entirely sure. But I feel like Busan brings itself to speak a lot more to the versatility of these teams again when it comes down to some of the DPS choices that we get a chance to see. Jimmy? Maybe Mecha Base? Hanzo? Potentially? I would love to see it.
Have to see how this works out, because let's talk about what the issues we're seeing here from the Guangzhou Charge later down in this series. Farway had tried to use Nano at one point to try to keep Gaga in some of these fights. We saw Jimmy waiting for so long to use the EMP to get the follow-up opportunity from Gaga, but then waited too long. Too much progress had already been done at this point on push, and we know how difficult it is to come back from push. Once you have that limited time bank to work with and it's already gotten so much progress, it's very volatile once you already have the advantage, and especially when it's so significant. Moving on to Busan, though, these changes need to come quick from the Guangzhou Charge, because they look to be much more in form when we saw them play last week here, but this time around, this is not what we're expecting from one of our contenders teams after they did lose, I believe, one map versus O2 Blast as one of their first series that they dealt with. I believe it was last week on the 14th, but now going on to map number 5, this isn't a dominating performance that they desperately needed.
I don't know if they're gonna get it either. Even if they end up winning this map, Guangzhou Charge have a lot of things that they need to clean up heading into the latter half of this summer stage qualifiers for them. When it comes down to the dive and it comes down to some of the missteps that they made on New Queen Street, chalk it up to miscommunication. Every single point where they were trying to use those ultimates or they were trying to initiate the dives felt like something was off sync. So you've got to start cleaning that up here. And I really love that the Charge is going to start to roll out on maybe some of these more unorthodox compositions for them. Gaga, known for the Wrecking Ball, can bring that out here as a little bit of an offhand pick. And Jimmy gets to play the Ashe. Another comfort pick for him.
They should just work into their strength at this point here, too. What I'm really worried about, Farway being on the Zen, is the target practice that Nice and Becky have, being shoulder to shoulder, and then the follow-up opportunities that Arkan has opened up could just leave this backline so vulnerable. We're gonna have to see how Xerneas puts that ante to work here once the opportunity has presented itself. Gaga tries to dive in here. The follow drive to be able to keep himself putting on some of that extra pressure, as he's about to get the mines here, too.
This is still really risky, because as you mentioned, Farway is super vulnerable in the back line, so is Gaga. A quick hack onto Gaga's Wrecking Ball would leave him as a giant ultimate battery. But this is way better communication from them so far.
Jimmy being on the Ashe. Talk about comfort picks out here. You've seen this one before. Finding one head after the other. The follow-up and then the cleanup onto PANTHERA. Just when they needed them here, it's going to be the Charge finding that team fight win.
And now you see why you should be leaning into these strengths of the Charge whenever possible. Jimmy is already going to be 80% towards a Bob to be able to be on point. Nice Nano to save his life, too.
The timing on that was actually beautiful. Reaction here from Xerneas. The pulse bomb getting sent out. Atlanta that's marked while developed has that Nano boost ready. It's gonna be a different approach, because that Nano was used out, and now they're gonna be able to take advantage of it. Diving onto that backline, it's also gonna cost Jimmy's life as Becky pops up, finds a quick 2K here, just finishing off what is left of Gaga while he just stalls on the point to get some extra credit.
Nice amount of progress for the Charge to have grabbed so far, though, and they get a chance to come back into this with a good chunk of ultimates. You talked about the mines being online for Gaga. That's a great way to start to clear off the point. Sanctuary is still one of the smallest control points that we have in Overwatch 2, and that'll be great to lay that down, but oh no. Farway is now far away.
Off in the distance while Gaga's rolling around, being able to see the Gaga ball come into full form. Minefield ready. So is the trance from far away once he makes his way back. Jimmy does get hacked by Knights over. Building up that EMP. Look how much ults Panthera has to work with here. The Nano Boost has been put onto Arpen as he gets hit with an anti from Xerneas. Alright, once again, does have that trance, just waiting for the opportunity as he pushes everybody from Charge into position after losing out on Xerneas. Arpen, though, meanwhile, gets to just back away. Sure, use that Transcendence, finding the opportunity to then dive back in, find far away as a vulnerable target. Choice to one with the double on the pulse. Who jumped into who is what I want to know.
I don't know. I think you're gonna have to send Charge back to figure that one out themselves. I would love to see some swaps come out here. I think the Wrecking Ball has been punished a ton. Now when Nice and Becky have had that Wrecking Ball on their radar, but okay. Charge actually gonna go ahead and sneak that cap underneath them. Huge EMP though, oh my goodness.
They can find Xerneas and they do. The backline deleted after a 4-man EMP from Nice. Dying for all the right reasons. It did not go unaware. Becky having the pulse bomb ready to hold forward, finding this duel against Choi, who doesn't have the health back here. He's going to be able to back away to safety. Great start there for Nice for Panthera to remain on that point.
Panthera taking back control, and now we're approaching that last fight territory. We're going to see Jimmy switch over to the Cassidy and far away off of the Zenyatta, going to a little bit more sustainability with that Mordita choice. But where's this pulse bomb going to go? Oh, Develop goes down with the Nano.
Wait a minute. Seeing the swaps, the Cassidy coming in. Last fight territory here. Xerneas put the Nano Boost onto Farway. Choi fighting this battle against Peach here. Turns around, gets the melee. Well, Cheeky as well as Gaga also going to be able to move in. Just delay the rest of Panthera from trying to touch this point.
Okay, Panthera going to have to come back into this one. Develop's going to have to throw the Nano over, hoping that at the very least Arpen can make it here.
Oh, manages to push into the overtime. Gaga is going to be able to stall for the rest of the Charge to make their way in. This is great looks here for Charge as Panthera making the swaps of Peach being on this Lucio that did lose out on Nice earlier, that don't have the EMP for this fight into their win condition. Arpen goes down. Jimmy, Deadeye ready. Just clearing up the space, and that's exactly what they need to secure that first round. That was way too close here for the Charge.
That was a photo finish for sure. Panthera had started to figure out a lot of the ways that Guangzhou Charge wanted to engage with the Wrecking Ball in particular. Gaga was actually way more slippery than I would have expected with Wrecking Ball versus Sombra in particular. But Jimmy had such a heavy hand in so many of these team fight wins for Guangzhou. This clip in particular was so fun to watch.
Oh man.
The shield goes down,
One
headshot
after
to a
the other.
Peach. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh no, this is nice playground though. We head over to downtown, get a chance to see all of these skyscrapers to play around, and Nice coming out again on one of his signature picks, the Echo, the duel with Choice Wands. When we've seen this before, Vicky, this has gone the way of Panthera.
Yeah, it's been diffed, honestly, where Nice has just been able to sit in the driver's seat while Choi is having a troublesome time. And as I say that, Choi's upset. Choi says, put some respect on my name right now, sending Nice right back to the spawn room. Good start here for the Charge. Again, carrying that momentum for that first round, being as close as it was here as they try to push on to this point. Now finding Develop. Choi with the focusing beam has been on point for those first two picks. Now as they keep falling down, Charge will be able to get onto the point first.
All right, Charge with another quick capture of this point. They already look way more coordinated than they ended up looking there on New Queen Street. Panthera have had a very hard time trying to get back into things. And we may end up seeing a repeat of how that very first map went of Oasis in this series, where Charge, they were able to take that control point. And we're going to see Nice actually swap off of the Echo already. Going over to the Sombra, hoping to snipe Choice One out of the skies.
I like this choice here, as well as the quick change up, not wasting any time. And they were able to just breathe their way onto flipping that point also, while the Charge were holding onto the high ground. Well, they are going to be able to try to flip it back. It's going to get contested here. Jimmy making his way right back in now as Farway gets hit with an anti. The rally from Xerneas tries to keep Farway alive. The nano boost put onto him so that way he could hold the front line. But PANTHERA with the quick disengagement after losing out on Harpin, who was going to have the primal for that fight.
You have to. If you don't have your Winston, you're not able to try to get this work done. Unfortunately, we see the rally. Okay. I mean, with the nano, sure, why not?
Finds Xerneas here. It still stays alive. Meanwhile, Gaga gets hit with a huge anti, and Xerneas and Choi get taken out from this fight. Trying to back away after now finding Choi. Friends right back involved in this fight with the primal ready, as well as PANTHERA flipping this point. Jimmy trying to delay the inevitable after finding Nice, and with Gaga getting taken out, that does allow PANTHERA to take control.
But take a look at how much progress Charge was able to walk away with how scrappy that fight ended up being. With PANTHERA having to take the fight over to the Mega Pack, it left Charge to just get away with so much free progress on this point. Nice, though, has the EMP. Maybe PANTHERA are able to make something happen here with their own charge. That hit Gaga?
Was very hopeful. Ghost again. Seeing things, sometimes we get a little excited trying to unleash the EMP. That's their big win con in stopping the Charge from re-engaging off the table. They still have advantage on the point here, and the Charge are playing this patiently. They're going to have the nano boost soon. Jimmy wants to get some impact off this pulse bomb if you get on top of that high ground and try to contest Becky too. Oh, and Becky with the pulse bomb stick instead. Xerneas looked to your side. Becky was there the whole time. Now can harass Farway, who still manages to restabilize here, but they have to give that space and respect over to Arpen and Becky.
Okay. PANTHERA now going to go ahead and start to walk away with a bit more dominance on this point. We're looking at that pulse run from Jimmy, whether or not it's going to be able to land its mark. A Peach and developer really holding hands right now, knowing that a Peach has been that dive target more often than not. Oh, you got the nano just in case.
Develop saw that pulse bomb and jumped off so quick, just in case, saying that's none of my business. Because I don't want to burn out that nano boost. Is ready as he gets focused down by Gaga. Nice sacrifice here to put Arpen in the driver's seat to contest because they're already approaching that last fight territory in favor for PANTHERA. Arpen gets taken out. Choice of one comes in when they needed him the most for focusing beam, and Jimmy comes in to contest Becky. They flipped the point for right now, but another close call here for Charge.
They still don't have supports right now, so all of this damage onto Gaga is a bit permanent unless you're going to end up forcing out the Primal Rage. You're going to see Nice try to force that out, but to no avail as Charge are looking up for success. Last fight standing between Charge and potentially closing out the series here and getting another win under their belt, sending home PANTHERA winless.
Gaga moving forward. He's got the primal to reset just in case to contest the back line here, but Peach got the rally as the duplicate comes in from Choice of One. Popping over to Becky's Tracer. Pulse for pulse from both sides here. Neither gets the picks that they need, but Jimmy still finds Arpen earlier on in that fight before the rally could get popped from a Peach. Overtime ticking away. The moment of truth here. PANTHERA can still stay in this game. Arpen makes a desperate swap over to the Doom. We get the trade for trade as Farway decides to take matters into his own hands. He's still alive here. Choice of One trying to stay involved in this fight. PANTHERA having the advantage on this point. Overtime ticking away. They need to take care of Choi. Just a matter of time before Farway goes down too. Gaga trying to desperately get back in, but can't reach in time. You see him right above the bridge. PANTHERA keep things going to a round 3.
What a nice clutch moment there from PANTHERA, and the Doomfist choice as well coming up from Arpen proved to be a great... I don't know. I don't even know how that honestly happened because it felt like it was Guangzhou Charge all the way through on that map of downtown. Let's see some of these final moments though. I mean, Nice was able to clip the wings there of Choice A1, knowing that the duplicate was also off the table for a little while. Yeah, Nice was such a big part of that team fight win there for PANTHERA in the end too.
I'm just appalled there with the picks that we saw from Farway and Choi. I mean, the impact. All right, going on to round number 3, Necra. This is it. This is the decider here. And Choi is rolling out with the Reaper. We see the Ram coming in from Gaga.
Ooh.
Oh, Peach gets first taken down here. You want to take this fight close quarters? Well, you don't have to meet me outside. You can meet me in the side room instead. Finding Arpen too. Choice of one getting the full impact that he can off this Reaper.
That was such a smart choice of composition for the Charge to come out with. Panthera were not prepared for that. Especially if Gaga is just going to run at them in the face. Choice of one's Reaper? Arpen doesn't want to have to face that. You're gonna have to try to find a way to be able to get past these chokes, but if you're gonna go under the underpass, Choice I Want is right there with those shotguns. Take a look at that. Oh, you nervous. Okay, they're able to get out the words.
Jimmy retaliating too, tries to get the hack into Arpen. As you mentioned, Necro, this is going to be the counter pick here that is necessary in dealing with Arpen. They also trade that off for Gaga, and Xerneas does get hacked. Can't get away in time. And now this is going to be another team fight win that Charge can walk away from here. But Choi gets hit, though, with the anti. Can't break away. This is going to be the flip that Panthera need to keep themselves in the fight. 45% progress only for the Charge.
Panthera able to get out of the gates meant that the Charge didn't have as many avenues to be able to focus down a single target at a time. They would have loved to be able to take those fights in some of these choke points as they are coming out with right now, but that's also going to leave them vulnerable to potential big stick here from Becky.
They made him feel safe. Down. They made him feel safe. They let him take the health pack, and then immediately the communication between Nice and Arpen to get the follow-up onto Xerneas, still allowing Panthera to get the extra progress that they also need from the point.
Oh boy. Jimmy's gonna have to come back into this in the EMP, but where's the follow-up?
Let's see it here, but with the nano boost that the developer had, it's gonna be difficult to be able to get that pick onto Arpen and Knights, who were caught in that EMP. Meanwhile, Nice get much more of an impact. So far away, activate the ult here. It's still gonna be able to find Becky. Coalescence also keeping them in the fight earlier on, but we'll have it here as the Death Blossom gets picked up from Choi. Jimmy gets a follow-up onto Nice. It's about clearing the space and dealing the damage. Gets put to sleep before Develop runs right back to the team.
You're gonna have to try to run away, run far away as you can. Panthera does not want to get staggered here, but Guangzhou Charge overextended. Xerneas is gonna go down, and all of a sudden you don't have the ability to kite away with the mobility that the Lucio was providing.
Oh, that was beautiful. The rally inside that side room gets that barrier nice and big, so that way you can get that shield bash, even with the annihilation being a problem. They delete Gaga. The sound barrier doesn't help him out since he's on the way back to the fight. Instead, it's from Charge to retake this. Pulls it down, Becky with the post up, hitting that quick double, which means Xerneas, the sound barrier, all for naught now as they get deleted. So much damage coming out from Panthera, and while Gaga finally pokes his head out to engage in the fight, he equally just gets deleted and sent right back to the spawn.
That was such an impressive double pulse. You removed so much of that aggression from the Charge. Gaga's gonna give up the Ramatra here, switch over to the Winston, hope to initiate some of these dives a little bit better. Farway's not going to switch off the Moira just yet. Able to work up to that Coalescence as an initiation tool here, as now the Charge starts to pincer the Panthera backline.
Coalescence to help with this engagement here to force them off this high ground. Xerneas just get hacked to the back, and they are able to find Arpen, who could have had the primal in this fight here too. Peach also gets hacked, and Nice is about to get the EMP, the difference maker as Jimmy had used this earlier. See what they can get going here as currently Charge regain control over this point to the Peach in the line of fire. Choice and one lets it rip. The Beyblade goes insane, finds the 3K before repositioning himself with more pressure. 95% and counting.
Someone's gonna have to come in and touch. It's gonna have to be Arpen, but it's gonna be in the face of the Reaper at the moment. And now you have to hope that Becky's gonna be able to get that repeat success with the Pulse Bomb. Give Panthera a fighting chance.
They're about to have the ult online here too. You see the primal activated. Becky with the pulse doesn't get the retaliation that they desperately needed to stay alive. Develop did get hacked, but managed to stay up for how long as a Peach has the rally, doesn't save Develop. They trade that and they lose out on Xerneas. It's happening here. Panthera managed to flip the point. 95% and climbing, in Charge of one last chance.
They're in shambles right now. Gaga is trapped in this small room, getting just absolutely bodied by Panthera right now.
No way! They can't touch. Gaga's out. He died when he was about to have Primal. This is the opportunity. PANTHERA are going to hold back the charge. Joyson won with the recall. Nothing else left on the table. They're going to be falling one by one. And even with Troy being there, far away with the faded contest, overtime has continuously been forced up by Charge with little to no numbers.
Gaga has the Primal though. He's back with the Primal. Is he going to be able to get this to bully off PANTHERA on the point? Oh, the sound barrier!
No.
It's not there!
Dying with the sound barrier. Another wing con that they desperately needed. Here comes the pull. A Peach is right there. Doesn't have to rally. This is going to be the opportunity, but it gets hacked. Gets canceled right off. Xerneas tries to make his way back.
They did it!
PANTHERA do it! They hold back the Guangzhou Charge and win the series. Such a close series at the very end, down to the wire per round that we saw these teams go off against.
That was so back and forth. Vicky, I didn't even know how Busan was going to end. Downtown, the clutch from PANTHERA, the mecha base clutch as well. PANTHERA earned that win, their first win of the summer stage qualifiers. And you have to give so much credit to the pre-existing synergy we ended up seeing coming up from Neist, Arpen, and a Peach. It feels like they're back in the T1 era that they played in before. They haven't missed a beat.
Literally shaking right now. I cannot believe this. The fans do not look pleased here and more so shocked. Crazy to see the outcome here as PANTHERA, one of our contenders teams, take out the Guangzhou Charge. I cannot believe this. Becky, insane on the Tracer there too.
It was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, you talked about the insanity of Becky's Tracer. That is going to earn him the player of the match. The impact that Becky had could be felt from across the Overwatch 2 universe, it felt like. Oh my gosh. All of the pulse bomb sticks onto so many key targets, whether it was going to be Xerneas' Brigitte, any of the players on Guangzhou Charge that were ulting. Amazing stuff, Vicky.
What's crazy is that before that final fight, Becky was 4 for 4 on pulse bomb sticks with the pulse bombs that he's had. His sticks were so on point, but also the communication with our pen to get the follows off of the antis from Develop were chef's kiss. That's why we're highlighting Becky as player of the match here. Even Nice having such an amazing game here. In all honesty, this is the game where we got to see Nice dip Choi on the Echo alone. Also has a nasty Tracer to work with too, so the flexibility in that pool is there. We saw the pop-up opportunities with the Sombra here too. And then the duplicates that we also got to see from Becky, you know, wanting in on the action, even if it's taking a little break from the Tracer that we got to see.
Yeah, we saw just a few different looks there from Becky, and I think the way that Neist and Becky slot into this roster, it's just so wonderful to be able to play to either a strong Tracer from Becky, or ending up being able to split the Echo duty there with Neist to allow Neist to be able to play the Sombra. Oh man, Becky's tracking is also just so fun to watch.
It is. And also just seeing how close it was in general. Another stakeout here too. Xerneas not looking to the right, so fixated on the window on top. Meanwhile, making the adjustments too around how Troy was going to play on the Reaper. So providing some help into nailing down where Xerneas was going to go off of Nice getting the initial hack. All throughout the series, Becky was a highlight. All of PANTHERA, with Arpen included, being able to have those highlight moments. Another stick to end some of these highlights here, but time and time again, just getting another one at the very end here. Even with the sound barrier, gets that recall, finds the opportunity to get away before sending out the pulse to get another stick. That was a double opportunity right there too.
Oh, it was just a yeet into the back line, but it was also just some really wonderful mechanical skill coming out as well. You could see how Becky was prioritizing blinks, just conserving them for those perfect moments to be able to get those tips to secure a pick. Love being able to see that. I feel like Becky just showed up in such a big way for Panthera, and to watch the Tracer, Panthera finally getting a win on the board. I want to see what they can do with this moving forward into their future matches.
Yeah, because they haven't been able to win a match so far. This is just week number 2, so the current standings will be shifting significantly. But we highlighted at the very beginning of the series how necessary this would be for the Guangzhou Charge to at least get some progress going throughout this summer stage. They were currently sitting in 8th in the overall standings too before that series, so a lot is going to be changing here with Panthera taking that dub. Contenders team staying on top, showing off the talent and the adjustments that they can make, even with roster subs coming in fresh. Gaga Ball got immediately taken out like a bowling ball there at the very end too. Just so much, even with the desperate adjustments from the Charge, just was not enough. Even playing into some of their best comps that we've seen, Jimmy being on the Hanzo, Choi being on the Tracer, still not going to be enough, unfortunately, there. But fortunately now for Panthera, they can realize what they have been able to excel in terms of comp. They've been able to really work so well with this new tank here, and hopefully being able to stay true to what history they have working together in the past. Can't wait to hear more from Panthera, because that was definitely one heck of a game, even with those quick adjustments that they made from week 1 into week 2. Jasmine obviously stepping away, and then Arpen making their way in.
Yeah, it was really night and day difference there for Panthera to be able to show up like this, but it gets even tougher when you take a look forward to the strength of schedule that they have coming up after this match. Their next match is going to be against the Hangzhou Spark. They've got the Seoul Infernal after that. It's a huge test of strength here to see whether or not this Panthera roster can really contend with the best of the best. And they have a ton of fans in the audience right now to be able to cheer for them and hopefully continue to support them later on in the summer qualifiers.
The energy. We talked about it earlier too. You know, sometimes with some of these teams get to play on stage, it can be a little nerve-wracking here, but that's going to be the wrap-up here for this series. Let's jump into an interview to hear what the players have to say.
안녕하세요, 베키 선수. 제 말 잘 들리시나요?
Hello, Becky. Can you hear me?
잘 들려요.
네, 승리
Yep, I
축하드립니다. 이번 시즌 첫 승인데 소감이 남다르실 것 같아요. 어떠세요?
This is the first one of the season for you. How do you feel?
일단 기분 너무 좋긴 한데 뭔가 아쉬운 것 같아요. 너무 어렵게 이겨가지고.
I feel
아쉬움이 많이
good, but this
남는다라고
has been definitely
말씀해
a
주셨는데
hard win,
풀세트까지
so I
갔습니다.
have mixed
체력적으로
feelings.
많이 힘드시진 않으셨어요?
So, like, this was a
많이
long match.
힘들긴
How do you feel, like,
했어요.
physically?
마지막 판 끝나고 다리 풀리고 손 떨리고 해가지고.
I'm exhausted. My
그
hands are
정도로
shaking. My
정말
legs are shaking as
고군분투하는
well.
그런 매치가 이어졌었는데 초반에 다소 힘들어하다가 상대 탱커를 포커싱하면서
Early on, you
뭔가
struggled,
분위기 전환이
but you
됐다라는
focused the
느낌을
tanks
받았습니다. 혹시
on the
누가
opposition,
오더를
and you
했을까요?
turned your fortunes around. Who led the charge?
그냥 힐러들이 했던 것 같아요.
I think our backline
힐러들이
gave a
뭔가
lot of the
조금
calls
이야기가
to
나와서
focus on
그걸
who
팀적으로 다
usually the
운영을
tankers,
했군요.
and
네.
yeah, they give
그렇습니다.
most
이
of the crucial
나이스트
calls.
선수의 에코 그리고 베키 선수의 트레이서 조합이 상당히 많이 나왔는데 이 반대 조합도
Well,
혹시
Nice
가능하지 않나요?
played a lot of
네,
Echo, and you
가능하긴
played a lot of
한데
the
저희가
Tracer.
연습
Both
때
players
그렇게
plays both.
했었어가지고
How do you allocate those resources?
혹시-
계속 그대로 하고 있어요.
혹시 이유가 있을까요?
이게 나이스트 선수가 솜브라를
So the reason behind that is that Nice also plays the Sombra, and if we need to swap to the double flankers, it's easier for Nice to change to
전략적인 이유가
the Sombra
있다라고
instead
언급을
of having both
주셨습니다. 아, 그리고 또 오늘
swap.
나이스트 선수가
It's
특히
better
에코를 많이
efficiency,
이용을
so that's why
하셨는데
Nice plays the Echo and I play the Tracer.
에코 아나 복제를 했어서 양 팀에 아나가 4명이 나오는 그런 진풍경도 나왔습니다. 혹시 어떤
So
메리트 때문에
we saw
아나를
4
복제한
Annas
거라고
today with
생각하세요?
each of the Echoes duplicating the Annas. Why do Echoes duplicate the Anna these days?
앞에서 넣을 수 있다는 게 좀 큰 것 같아요.
아, 힐벤이라는 밸류를
I think
높게 평가하는
the possibility
판테라라고
of
말씀해 주셨습니다.
like a surprise Bionade is usually why Echoes
방금
duplicate
이그
the Anna.
팀과의 매치에서 이기셨는데 각오 마지막으로 말씀해 주시죠.
You have the Spark coming up next. Can you
오늘은
share your
좀
resolve coming into that
어렵게
match?
이겼는데 내일은 좀 그래도 쉽게 3대1 정도로 이기겠습니다.
So today we
네,
really had to
지금까지
work our way
판테라
for the
베키
win.
선수와 인터뷰를
Tomorrow we'll
나눠봤습니다.
try our
다시
best
한번
and
승리
try to make it a
축하드립니다.
3-1 for you guys. And that's the end of the interview. Back to you,
네, 이상
Vicky.
인터뷰 마치도록 하겠습니다.
Thank you so much, Unknown. What a showcase we just saw right now from Panthera. That was beautiful. Our contenders teams are only getting better and better the more they get to play against more of these Overwatch League teams, Sandra.
It has been so much fun to watch, and you can see in each individual team the reasons why they were able to earn their spot to play alongside these Overwatch League teams. And it's going to be so exciting to see what's going to happen in the future. But Vicky, that does it for us. That's going to be us covering the first 2 matches. We're going to take a short break. Coming up next, we've got Hangzhou Spark versus Seoul Dynasty, and you are going to be in great hands with Achilleos and Avril. See you guys after.
Engage.